So welcome back to the Music City Drive-In. I'm Eric, and I get to talk to Chloe Traicos today.
Hi, Eric.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
We're talking about introducing Jodea today.
Yes. Yeah, it's been wonderful. I've been getting a lot of support. I'm really thrilled people have been responding very positively to the movie. And a huge number of men, which surprised me because I thought it was merely a chick flick, but it seems to be going down with both. So I'm very, very pleased with that. And yeah, no, it's been fantastic. And thank you for having me on.
Now, every question comes with a little bit of an answer because of the way your movie is written. There's so much of your experiences in it.
Oh,
and there are so many layers. And I wanted to say that I really enjoyed the writing in this a lot.
Oh, thank you.
And I almost caught myself folding in something where in your movie, your character talks with the director about writing a scene in a coffee shop.
Yes.
And then lives that scene. And then
oh yes yeah that was so funny is that that actually wasn't I actually didn't mean it to go like that. I wrote the scene about, she's an idiot, she's bawling, she's crying, she's not serving customers because she's crying. It was only later I realized that the scene with Jodea imitates what she just said. It was after we finished wrapped shooting it, I said to Jon, the director, I was like, hey, I just worked out. She's crying. And Jon's like, well, yeah, I thought that was part of the script. I honestly wrote that not thinking of, her calling the other character an idiot. So yeah,
so that was similarly, your movie is, you have a moment where your character questions the director on choosing a genre. They always lean towards action, so maybe lean towards something new. What is that part of why you chose this genre?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I love romantic comedies, and in fact, I was told not to do it. I was said, "There's no money in it anymore. People aren't watching romantic comedies anymore." I've always been Jon was always persuading me to do horror movies because he said that's where the money is. But I just can't write horror. It's just not my thing. So this was when came from the heart, 120%. Yep.
So just tell me a little bit more, just to help fill in our audience about what the movie is about.
Sure. Well, basically, it's the kind of Pygmalion, My Fair Lady story. A down-and-out actress can't act to save her life. One day, a world-famous movie director drives into the back of her car. She uses this as an opportunity to get in his movie. And she auditions, and she's terrible. And then it's only when his agent says to him, well, look, I bet you couldn't get a performance out of that girl, that he takes his agent on. And he's like, okay. So he has a bet in which to make her a star basically in 1 week. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much in a nutshell. Yeah.
Especially when I'm speaking with someone who took on the challenge of making a movie. I mean, you wrote this, you drove yourself into, like all of this, put it together. That is no easy task. That is a big thing. And so I wanted to say congratulations on having made a movie.
Thank you. No, it is a big thing. And it's but you kind of have to do it. It's just, I always say to everyone, you can't sit around waiting for it to happen. And it got to that stage with this one, because initially, like everyone, we wanted to make it on a bigger budget. We wanted, the equivalent of Tom Cruise or someone playing Zach. And it was just like we were going out to people and they were like, but I was married to this. This was my baby and I wasn't giving up that role. And so, of course, when you have that, it's a case of, well, we don't know who the girl is, so we're not going to sign big names. And then that was where we were at. And then eventually I just said, look, you know what, we've got to just slash the budget and we'll do it on nothing and we'll just do it really well. And that's what we did.
So this coming Tuesday, people are going to be able to watch Introducing Jodea. Where online?
Basically all the usuals. iTunes, you can pre-order it. Just a note, I have to put this in. If you pre-order it on iTunes, it's only $6 between now and Sunday. It's the weekend before the big opening special. And so, yeah, it's going to be on Amazon, iTunes, Hulu, all the main ones. Netflix, we're only going to in February, but November, Amazon, iTunes, all of those.
With it being so much, your project, inspirations for your story, some of the inspirations for the characters, and
sure. I mean, it was triggered by an experience I had back in 2007. I was working for a movie producer, and he asked me to deliver some scripts to one of the top agencies in Australia. And I was stuck in traffic trying to find a parking spot. I was circling the block and I was like really cursing because I was, had to get in, it was just very stressful. And I remember at the time thinking, what if a world famous movie director walked out of the agency, got in his car and drove into the back of me? And that kind of triggered it. And then it's also things like, Hollywood is always telling you like, especially if you're like me, you're not the conventional beauty. You're always being told you're not pretty enough. And so I put all of that in, although that was a line which Jon thought about when Kent, the agent, says to me, if we shot you from the back of your head, you'd still be too ugly. That was Jon's line, which he put in there. And Kent said, and afterwards he was like, I didn't come up with that, Chloe, just so you know. But yeah, I thought it was pretty funny because it's just, he's like, the thing is with Hollywood is that the agents don't actually say those things to your face, but you can tell by the way they imply it. Like it's never, you're too ugly. It's, you've got the wrong look. And
would you say that that's a lot of this movie is taking a lot of unspoken things?
Oh yeah.
And bringing them out?
And that's kind of like why, which we brought it all into like that scene when she auditions and the agent says all those things to her, your breasts are too small and all of that stuff. That's all stuff that you get told as an actor in Hollywood. Well, if you want leading roles, maybe, you should consider getting a bit of plastic surgery and all that stuff. So it's kind of like taking the piss, but doing it, but just making it very in your face kind of. So, which I think makes it funnier.
I have an odd question, and I can remove it later if it's too odd of a question. Are you happy with the movie?
It's so hard to say. I am very happy because we had, I never expected it to turn out so well. You have no idea of the difficulties we had. Like we were shooting on a tiny budget. And so 4 days before we were due to shoot, both the production designer and the production manager quit on us because they couldn't handle the stress. So Jon and me, when we were shooting, when I was supposed to be just learning lines, getting my beauty sleep, I was coming home every night. I was looking up, making sure we had enough extras, making sure we had this prop and this prop. So it was the most stressful shoot imaginable. And we pulled it off. But I mean, as Jon says, it's Darwinism, it's survival of the fittest. This is how people survive in the industry. Either you don't. I mean, we had our second AD quit on the first day because she had a panic attack. She couldn't handle. I just thought, okay, well, she's obviously not meant to be in the business. But it's just very. But that's what filmmaking is. You kind of like have to dive in and do it. And so yes, I was really surprised that it did turn out so well. And I was really surprised at these great reviews we've been getting because it really was a hard shoot. And we were also limited push time wise. I mean, Jon was only in the country for 6 weeks. He was on a visa, but he was booked back to back doing stuff in Australia. So we only had him for that window. And then Ben, who plays Shlomo, Jodea's boss, got sick. He called us the day before he was due to go out and he said, can we please reschedule? And I said, we can't reschedule because Jon is literally leaving the country the day after we wrap. And so I got an understudy for the role. But I really wanted Ben to play it because he's so good. And he was such a star. He came out of hospital, came that day. His wife was with him. And he literally was barely able to walk, but he did the scene. And he was amazing.
Wow.
We're very, very blessed. We had a great cast and crew. So
on top of COVID in the world and everything, you had an insane production.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. What is it that you're hoping audiences get out of the story?
Well, I'm hoping the one worry I had is that people are going to think it's sexist. What I'm hoping audiences get is that much as he teaches her, she also teaches him. Like he is, he's not perfect himself and he is not following his dream. She's following her dream, but he's not following his. He's going with where the money lies. He had a flop once, got bad reviews, and that's it. He's now just playing it safe, listening to what his agent tells him to do. And she gets him out of that. She's like, no, come on, you got to work on your passion pieces. So that's what I'm hoping audiences get, that it's two-way, it's both of them are helping each other. They both need each other.
I'm almost mandated to ask you if there's anything you'd like to say or can say about The Righteous Gemstones season 2.
Well, I don't know anything. I mean, no, I'm not allowed to talk about it. And I don't really know anything except for what I shot. So
okay.
I absolutely know nothing. In fact, I think most of the actors know nothing except for the stars who are the main players. So, but it should be, I mean, the episode I'm in is hilariously funny. So I just recommend watch it. It's the, Danny McBride humor, which I love. So, yeah.
From your start, from what I understand, the first project you took on was a documentary in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. We didn't actually shoot it in Zimbabwe. I'd already safely immigrated. So I know people have been saying to me, "Oh, it was amazing. You risked your life." I didn't. I didn't risk my life, but I wanted to speak out what was happening. I can't go back there, but I did. You know, I made a documentary on Zimbabwean refugees. That was my first project, and yeah, it was a very good experience meeting these people who'd had to flee. They literally did have to flee for their lives, and it was quite incredible.
It seems to recur in your life that you are self-driven to do things. I mean, do you feel like that's where you're more comfortable now with independent, movie making versus like a studio struggles, or what do you?
No, I think that's a very good point, and I was actually thinking about it the other day. I would love, like everyone, it would be great if people come on board and give us lots of money and stuff. But I do, with my own projects, I do want to always have a say in them. So, and it's kind of like, I know at one point we were due to get these producers on board Jodea, and the guy was promising us the world, and then I can't remember what happened. Something fairly minor happened. I hadn't even signed with them or anything, and my manager went out to another money person, and the producers found out about it and went off at me. And I was like, hang on a minute, I haven't signed anything over to you. You don't have, but they were so nasty. And I sent them a really nice email apologizing, saying it was a misunderstanding. And he responded with such venom. And I thought, you know what? I don't care who you are. I'm not going to work with you. So I sent him an email explaining that. And he responded by telling me that he wasn't apologetic, but he pretty much said, look, you need to learn to let go of your project if you're going to get anywhere, kind of thing. And I kind of thought, well, okay, well, fair enough. Just to make a long story short, this guy still hasn't made anything since the time we had this falling out. But the point is that I'm so glad I never signed it over to him, because I can guarantee you we still wouldn't have been made. And so it's wonderful if many people come on board. And yes, there are other projects where, I do have several made on a much higher budget where I don't have to play the lead, where I'd like to play a small role in them. And obviously the leads will go to big names. Yes, I would love to see those made. With my project, yes, I'd always want a producing hand in it. But it's what you're saying about the drive is very interesting. I think a lot comes from being raised in a third world country like I was, because you don't have anything. It's like, we didn't have, it sounds so funny, but in Zimbabwe, we didn't have toys and things because you just couldn't get them. And so my mom, who's an artist, used to make us things. And so every picture I have on my wall, my mom painted, my mom drew. We didn't have any of the normal things that kids here have. We would have to save that for when we went on shopping trips down to South Africa. So I think a big part of growing up in a third world country is doing things yourself. It's kind of like, and I think there's something with that mentality. It's like, if it's, well, why wait for something to happen? Go make it happen. It's just, I think that's probably a big part of why I do this. Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like our audiences to know about the movie?
No, I would just say go out there this weekend and pre-order on iTunes for $6. And just, the trailer's up there on iTunes, so you can watch it just before. I want people to watch this, and I want it to be a feel-good movie. I want them to be happy. It's like after what we all went through with COVID, I think people need a bit of lightness and relief. Yep.
I wanted to thank you for a line. Normally, like with comedies, it's hard for me to laugh like out loud. I'm very self-conscious about that kind of thing. But I did get to watch this privately, and the line, I think that was your first hit.
Oh,
spectacular.
That wasn't mine. That wasn't even mine. That was actually Ryan came up with that just before we shot. He said to me, because he ad-libbed most of his lines. He's such a talented actor. And he said to us before, he said, hey, do you mind when we do this, if I say that? And John and I said, yeah, sure. And that was, we only had a little bit of milk to shoot that scene with. So Jeff had to get it in his face in that one take. So that was, we only did one take of that. But yeah, that was, I thought that line was fantastic.
Thank you so much for your time, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Chloe Traicos. Please look up anything that she has worked on and do what you can to support her. And thank you very much for your time.